Dobrý den, děkuju. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk in English because I know that there are at least few people in the audience who don't speak Czech. So I'm going to try to do it in English. And we can start. Thank you. So I will talk today about a collective that I'm part of called Open Forest Collective, where we have been doing research with various collaborators of different cultural, professional, and also biological backgrounds. And I will talk about our experiences and also struggles that we have encountered when trying to publish and disseminate our research to different groups. So, our work is concerned with multi-species sense-making and experiments with various ways how we as humans can think and collaborate with other than humans. How we can learn from each other in mutual way beyond the unidirectional observations. And we are also interested in how these practices can look in real everyday life research. So, feral, what is feral? The term feral points to species who escaped domestication, became wild, and started having unexpected impacts on environment. So they sort of became liminal creatures whose life ways became kind of familiar but also unfamiliar to people. And they grew sort of over human control. So in our work, we use feral as a metaphor, but also as an approach to our work, through which we want to engage with what exists beyond human control and embrace spontaneity and uncertainty as a generative element through which we hope to sort of seed unexpected relations that can challenge dominant paradigms and normativity. So who is Open Forest? We are 3 humans, Andrea, Jess, and Markéta, and 1 dog called Chewy. We have been working together for 5 years and researching various multi-species ecologies, predominantly forests. Surprise, surprise. And we have been interested in the question of what is a forest and to whom. So what forests means to their diverse, more than human inhabitants, which also sort of brought us to the question of when is a forest and to the exploration of the various temporalities and everyday life rhythms that make up forests as this multi-species environment made by many different creatures. In practice, we have been doing this through participatory and performative engagements, most often in the form of walks, experimental walks with different forest ecologies and their creatures such as dogs, trees, lichen, or environmental sensing devices. These walks are always guided by some local human or other than human guide who is very familiar with the local environment. So far we have been walking, for instance, under the guidance of healers in Finland, forest activists in Colombia, or also under the guidance of Chewy, who has been leading the walks in the Křivoklátsko forest. During the walks we collect sensory observations and produce stories, which are later shared in Feral Map, which is an online portal that we've designed to enable the walkers to share their experiences together with the forest where they walked. So with these sort of co-creative inputs, we think about the maps as an evolving archive of diverse, more than human knowledges. So to show you a few examples of the stories that we have walked so far, in Colombia we walk with the forest gardens or chagras in Tabanoc, which is the ancestral territory of Kamtsa people, and we walk under the guidance of Kamtsa women, who are the local chagra guardians. And who are also known as weavers. They weave their environmental knowledge and struggles into traditional belts called zombiach in the form of pictograms. So the pictogram that you can see there, maybe, in the corner depicts a spectacled bear who used to be a prominent inhabitant in the territory, but who is now facing extinction. So the belt kind of presents interesting data set, and the story captures a story, a knowledge of an indigenous woman that often might be sort of neglected in, for instance, global forest policies. In Finland, we walk within Hitiala Forestry Field Station, which is this very instrumentalized forest full of sensing devices, and we are guided by local scientists and data managers. Here is a story offered by one participant to the carbon tree, which is a pine strapped with sensors monitoring its carbon sequestration in real time. And the story sort of wonders about the life of the tree. You know, do people still know that it's actually a pine tree? Do they consider its bark? Or has it actually become a sum of numeric data? In Bohemia, in Křivoklátsko, we walk together with Chewy, where we kind of literally follow Chewy and his sense of orientation, his sense of direction. And we kind of wait what the local forest will reveal to us when we follow the orientation of a dog. Under this guidance of Chewy, we walked into forest spaces and situations that we might have actually never encountered otherwise. And we were also engaging with various rhythmic sensing practices that were new to us, such as plunging our face through moss, trying to breathe through the moss, following the breathing rhythm of Chewy, which is of course very hard because we can't breathe in and out the same way as dogs can, right? But what do I mean with all of this? So we are collecting all these stories as a type of forest data. Data that is situated and more than human, reflecting diverse forest cultures, epistemologies, and knowledges. And our aim with the map is basically to help obscure the currently available data about forests, which is very often quantitative and in the way kind of reductive. We are hoping to bring to attention the sort of power dynamics, for example, regarding who might be able to legitimately produce data and tell stories about forest, to raise questions about values and structural inequalities that shape forest. So we organize various public activities, such as exhibitions, as you have seen, where we share the data in form of artifacts. We also publish our research with Chewy as a co-author of academic papers and conference papers. And you know, it kind of makes sense because he is guiding the data collection in our field site, so why would he not be named as a co-author? And you might think it's crazy, and a lot of people in academia think that so, but we don't think so. We think that we should actually rethink the strategies of knowledge dissemination and reproduction, at least in the Western cultures where we are, because it's very often neglecting someone and making someone's knowledge is invisible. So, really, you know, this is a very short sort of sprint through the work of the open forest, where we are trying to bring up the voices of many creatures living in and around forests, and who can be actually often get like silenced systematically. And this co-authorship with Chewy is a provocation, but actually it has a historical context where, you know, this injustice has been going on for a longer time. And I'm over time, so I will thank you for the attention, and yeah, thanks.